Everybody do a quick look. Make sure you're recording.
I'm always recording, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And I don't record, or I don't stop recording until everybody stops recording. Eric!
I don't stop recording until everybody finishes.
We were all...
we're blaming that on me. We're putting that on me. Because Kyle said that he stopped recording. And he stuck with that story.
Honestly, it's Eric's fault. He was the first one.
It's my fault.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the SpaceBar podcast. I'm Kyle.
I'm Drew.
I'm Eric.
I'm Nathan.
All right, no, we're not getting away from this because
This is my fault.
Because listen, I get everybody's files. I get everybody's files and I put it in. I'm like, man, the end's gonna be so funny. So we're all gonna be flaming Kyle, and Kyle won't be there. I'll put a stupid picture up for Kyle in his little square. It's gonna be great. And I upload everybody. And I notice yours is like 30 to 45 seconds shorter than everybody else's, which means me, Nathan, and Kyle essentially stopped recording at the same exact time. So
whose audio were we missing?
I think we're missing.
So it's my fault.
Yes, it was your fault.
We're not gonna blame Kyle on this at all.
No.
Did Kyle stop recording?
Titled Drew hates Eric.
Recording.
Nope.
So I'm getting gaslit by three guys.
Do what
right
I
now.
do,
That's
not
what's
what I
going on
say,
here,
bro.
I literally didn't even
shit.
say anything. I'm just here. I'm witnessing. I'm an observer.
I'm just saying, man. That was real unfortunate because I was like, damn, this is gonna be funny, and I was like, damn, Eric's off camera, not recorded, flaming Kyle for not recording, and Kyle's actually recording still.
I was fine.
Well. How the turntables turn.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Today is
turn.
December 6th. Welcome back to the podcast. We appreciate everybody tuning in and being here to listen to us. We have a very special podcast today. In honor or commemoration of everybody being here, we have decided that we need an official logo. So we did something very special to get this logo. Drew, you want to explain the situation?
I don't, because Eric knows exactly what's going on. Take it away, Eric.
It's true. So basically, we dubbed this the logo episode. So we decided to do what other people have done before, where we went to two different vendors on Fiverr. We paid $100 and something for this logo and like $25 for this logo. So they've already seen the logos that were $100 plus and have not seen the ones that were cheaper. So that's going to be the reveal for them. I've seen them, of course, because I had to sign off on everything, but I really didn't sign off on anything with the cheaper ones. I just kind of let it roll. So
quick disclaimer
I
before
have all of the source files in Illustrator, and so we're able to change it up however we want to. I was trying to think if there was another type of file, but no, they're all in Illustrator.
Quick disclaimer before we get too far into this. If you are listening through our audio only on Spotify, please know that we do have a YouTube channel. So at the beginning portion of this podcast, it's going to be a lot of visual representations. We're going to be doing a lot of referencing to things that are going to be on the screen. So if you want to check out the live version with video and audio, just jump over to the YouTube and you'll be able to reference with your own eyes everything that we are talking about.
It is true.
And if you're hearing impaired, excuse me, if you're hearing impaired, Nathan hates you. All right, so
My sister's hearing impaired.
Explains a lot.
Yeah.
Facts.
So they're in topics. We're going to start with the top one. It's the red one.
oh, they put them spoilers. I like that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm so confused.
The topics,
Go to
chat, and
topics.
Discord.
Yeah.
Fucking grandpa.
All right, so number one, starting with number one.
Nathan is the most boomer millennial I've literally
I
ever met
am.
in my life. That is a fact.
We'll blame. We'll
So
blame
this-
that. I just turned notifications off on everything, to be honest.
So this is the
On
five.
life.
This is the $25 one, right? Honestly, it almost looks like I know that the other three haven't been put on the screen yet, but if you look at this one, it almost looks like the three more expensive versions we got were
100%.
mashed together.
It's damn near an identical logo.
Had a baby.
But it's almost an identical logo to one of the more expensive ones. Like legitimately almost the exact same except for the font a little bit.
for sure.
So, sorry,
Critiques?
Nathan
Alright.
wasn't cheating. So, the thing that everybody will see if you're watching on YouTube, the one that I really like out of the expensive ones, it's a lot like this first one. The only problem I have with the expensive one, which you'll see it, I'll wait till it goes there. This is a pretty nice.
Let's talk about this one.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
pros and cons on this one.
Stupid. sorry, that was aggressive.
It was.
I like
Nathan
the
hates
overall
everything.
design of it. I just wish that the outline of like the space bar and that the word space bar was
border.
a little bit blockier
Yeah,
because it's kind of thin, right?
Listen, if we need to have toxic
don't hate
masculinity
that.
in here, I will be. It's a little girly. I'm gonna be 100%. It's a little femme.
I think it's the salmon background, all right? I don't know if I love
I have
the
one in
color
white.
scheme.
I have one in white.
Okay.
I love red.
Yeah, I've got one
Red's
with a
like
white
one of my
background.
favorite
I'll show
colors.
you later.
I'm also
But-
not in love with the font for SpaceBar.
I'm just
It's-
genuinely surprised that that's not the other one. You know?
This surprises you that it's not the other one?
No. Yeah, like the.
Oh, because it's so
one of the
similar.
more. Yeah.
Not because it's so good.
Yeah, I mean it's
Yeah,
damn near
exactly.
identical.
Like not. Yeah, like it's very similar to each other. Which is
I'm also getting like Bar Louie is probably not the right example. It feels like
No, it is.
That-
is
no,
what
it
Bar
is.
Louie
Yeah,
is,
100
exactly
dead
the
on.
right
That's
example.
100% what
Yeah.
that
I'm
is.
getting Bar Louie
That
vibes.
does give me Bar Louie vibes. Mean Bar Louie vibes for sure.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I don't hate
What's
it,
the
but
next-
I feel like for this one we did get what we paid for, right? We paid $25.
Yeah.
Eric, why don't you break down the differences in what the price points get us before we move on to the expensive ones?
So it was just multiple revisions. Basically, we got 3D renderings from the more expensive one, unlimited revisions from the expensive one, faster turnaround. I mean, it took that guy literally less than 24 hours. I think he confirmed it in the morning. I paid for it like, let's say midnight. He confirmed it at 7 a.m. And then I think I had the first source file at like 7 p.m. So it was like super rapid fire quick on how he got it done.
it's fucking pro.
Yeah, I think I got more options as far as like the social media package and the PNG, JPEG files, you know, that came with the more expensive rather than just this. I just got the source files and then these images.
Right.
Makes sense.
Fair enough.
All right, let's move on
Yeah.
to the first of the expensive package.
That's still a goldish one, right?
Yeah.
Why don't we
The
do all
bigger
the
ones at the bottom.
Why
Yeah, I
don't we
was
do
gonna
all
say
the
that 'cause it'd
cheap
be
ones
easier.
first, and then we
Oh,
do
these
all
are
the
still
expensive
cheap ones?
Yeah, they're
Yes.
all.
Oh, I
the
didn't know we got
the
three.
are the same size.
Okay. Apologies.
Sorry.
So, which one are we going? Are we going to the very, very
The white
bottom?
one.
Oh.
So-
All right, so here,
Ugh.
fucking boomer.
Such a boomer. No,
Here-
no,
alright.
no disrespect to the boomers out there, but
Here's my
Nah,
hot take on
disrespect to
this
the
one.
boomers out there. Fuck you. You destroyed the planet. Anyways, this logo.
So this
hot-
first logo, okay,
Go ahead,
go
Drew.
ahead. So the first logo gave us Bar Louie vibes. This is giving me Rusty's vibes. I'm not a fan.
This
I
gives
wouldn't
me
even
more
say
like
Rust. I feel
Western.
like this is giving me more like Tex-Mex vibes. Like
That's exactly what
What's
was I
that?
gonna say.
what's that fucking
Chewy's.
Tex-Mex place? The most
Chewy's?
no, like the
El
most
Rojo's?
popular one.
And I'm not
Oh,
gonna.
On the
El
border
Royo?
or something is what it's giving me on the border
El
vibes. I think.
The dotted line gives me denim embroidery, right? So it almost looks
Yeah.
like a pocket that has the word
Yeah.
spacebar on it.
Right.
Like this would be cool for like if we did like a Western episode though.
This would be.
Did we
Honestly-
say martini glass specifically, or did they all just like go martini?
I think
glass?
what happened. Correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. Is he sent the one that I made and the one that he made and said make something out
Yeah.
of this, and he had a
I told him
martini
like a
glass in his-
cocktail. Yeah,
Okay.
I just said a cocktail. I didn't say specifically a martini or anything like that. I just said, you know, we're a Spacebar podcast. We talk about a lot of computer shit, a lot of nerd shit, and we drink a lot.
dicks and
So
farts.
Apparently, we eat a lot
yeah,
of
just
Tex-Mex.
like incorporate you can incorporate a cocktail into it. That'd be cool, but yeah. So I guess they just went with the martini.
So even on the font, my hot take on the font is like I
don't hate the
really
font, to be
feel
honest.
like it should say the word cactus. Like if it said the word
Yeah.
cactus, I
That
feel
is
like
a
that
good
would
cactus
really
font.
fit.
that's fair. I like the font, honestly.
Yeah, I do too. Like
I
overall,
don't
the
like
thing
it
that
for
I
the
dislike
podcast,
the
but I
most
like the
is the
font in
martini
general.
glass.
I'm just gonna
The
vote
thing that I
we just.
dislike the most about that one is the martini glass.
I'd rather be Bar Louie. All right, let's go. To
I
the
like
next one.
Western.
Yeah,
type
let's
shit.
let's hit number 3.
Speaking of Bar Louie,
Oh,
I don't hate this one. I really like.
I
the
don't hate
martini
this
glass
one either.
this is the most Bar Louie like one of the three.
No shot.
No, not at all.
The first one
But
is way
this-
more Bar Louie.
Bro,
But this
Google
one's
Bar
almost
Louie.
identical to another one, right? It's wild.
Honestly, though, this one, if any of the 3 cheap ones had to be on neon sign that had to go behind us in our podcast, I feel like this would be the best neon sign.
Yeah, that would be sick as
I'll
fuck.
fucking do
low-key.
it.
I mean, I like that this person actually included the spacebar from the keyboard.
I think it.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool if, like, I know that's the symbol for space, but like if he had extended it up through the P and right through the middle of the P through the martini glass, he'd actually close the square as a line through the text. I think that would be kind of cool, like a merge almost.
I do
I feel
not.
like it would have made
hate
it
this
harder
one.
to read.
I don't hate it either. I think this
Yeah, I
is
don't
my
hate it.
favorite
I like
out
it,
of the three
I
cheap
guess.
ones for sure.
It's
Also,
definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I feel
Out
like
of-
the
out of
color
the
scheme
three,
is the
for
best.
sure.
Yeah.
Right, you have a lot of contrast. You have the contrast from the space and the bar and the martini, and there's clear cuts. I think color scheme wise, this is definitely the best one.
Yeah, but I mean,
for sure.
realistically, with a little bit of YouTube, I should be able to adjust any color scheme in any of the logos because, like I said, I have all the source files and I have Illustrator, so it shouldn't take me long. Hopefully,
Well, yeah, I think one by one, this is definitely my vote for the
cheap
best
one,
one
for
of the cheap ones. So
yeah,
Sure.
concurrent on all four of us.
I think so.
I'd have to agree.
But in an order from 1 to 3, it's definitely 3, 1, 2.
Yes, absolutely.
Let's move on to more expensive. Oh, there's 4. Did we get an extra?
Yeah, well, so I had to do a revision on the first one.
Okay.
So I wanted it to, because I guess the guy just didn't understand what I wanted, so I just kind of left it. Because I'm a millennial and that's what we do.
Never
so
send
I
food
wanted-
back.
Good enough.
Yeah, so the first one of this one and the first one of the cheaper one are basically the same, right?
But
Mm.
I have a problem with this fucking martini glass. Who puts a bendy straw in their martini?
Not anybody.
I would put a
Okay,
bendy
first of all,
straw
A,
in a
number
martini
one,
glass
before
for
we get to
sure.
bendy straws, who puts
Puts
a straw in general in a martini glass? Like, if you're drinking a
I actually might be able
martini
to edit that out.
out of a fucking martini
You
glass,
just need to edit that line. It could be like
Yeah.
a toothpick.
it could be a
With that
toothpick
bendy
for sure.
straw.
I can do that, no problem.
Straighten
But
that bitch out, put an
originally
olive on
what I
there.
wanted him to do was to put the podcast that's at the bottom in the line, like the first one of the
I see what
cheap
you're
one.
saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he took that as like inside, like in the actual line. So that's where we are with this.
It's like
Yeah, that
it's,
one
It's like a
looks
wordplay
like-
thing. It's either
Yeah.
that's inside
I
of
should
the
have just sent him the
lines.
other logo.
This
Honestly,
is-
I should have just been like, you know what, just like this.
Yeah. This guy did it better.
Just immediate. The thing that stands out the most to me between the more expensive guy and the cheaper guy is the 3D looks infinitely better than anything that you could do in 2 dimensions, right? The shadow, the depth, even if you really look at it, if you look at the outer blue border from right to left, you almost have like a light on the right side
Like a
that's
reflection, yeah.
reflecting off. So that texture on the words alone, I think personally makes the money worth the difference.
I agree.
You think he made that watermark or Fiverr has that like for all of the?
I think they
clients?
offer it.
I don't
Fiverr
know.
probably does that.
That's a cool office in the background,
Sure he
though.
would
I
do
could
that.
totally
Yeah,
work
I was
there.
Yeah,
That's like too
damn,
off
it's like
subject.
That is. It looks pretty chill.
I like it. There's also a 2D
Is that a
version.
piano?
I don't know
What
if
is
I'm
that?
going
A
to
piano?
put
Where?
it up. The ADHD in this fucking podcast is throwing me off.
Focus.
I like the 2D version. I don't know if I'm gonna put it up in editing. If it is, here it is. And if not, I look like an idiot. I like the 2D version of this a lot too. I
feel
don't.
like
We should
So-
show them.
Yeah, just to
Oh,
throw it
we
out there,
should
we
definitely
got
show
a
them
3D
something.
version and a 2D version of
Yeah.
all of the expensive ones.
Yeah, and I already told you
Which is
guys
true.
the idea that I have for this 3D one, which I'll just keep a surprise if we do it. Because if I say we should do it and we don't end up doing it, then we look stupid.
And
So-
honestly, we could do it with
Yeah.
any of them. In my opinion.
Yeah.
you look stupid.
Not to
This one
let's
looks
not
more-
dwell on anything that we're not going to release. so.
okay.
I
All
think
right,
I
let's
like
go
the
to-
2D version of this as well.
I
Yeah,
love
so-
the 2D version of this because it's kind of what I had in mind somewhat. So
Yeah.
Let's move on to number 2 of the expensive one. This is not my favorite.
It's my least favorite.
Yeah, it's my least.
I
No,
don't like
Font.
the font. I hate the font. The
I
E
hate
looks,
the font.
it looks dumb.
I low-key
It
hate
looks
that they
dumb.
all
like,
did
if that
martini
E was a
glasses.
person, it would be stupid, honestly.
was it he's a person? Nathan would not like that.
And have a big
That's
ass
true.
forehead.
100%. If I
sure.
saw that E in person, I'm hitting him with the why the long face.
All That hurt my soul.
All right.
But yeah,
Kyle's
I
a dad
hate
if nobody knew that.
Yes.
facts.
So stick along for the dad jokes.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
go ahead and throw out. I have nothing positive to say about this one, except that the blue color, which is in all of them, looks. I like that color blue. But beyond
Yeah,
that,
it's a
I don't
nice-
even
it's a
like
nice blue.
the martini glass. It looks like
Honestly-
a margarita glass.
I think
When
it is
I-
a margarita glass. Yeah.
When I look at this, it reminds me of SpongeBob whenever he does karate with the fucking
Yeah.
helmet he wears.
Yes.
It almost looks
Yeah.
like SpongeBob. Like the word, if you
SpongeBob,
if you
yeah.
uncross your eyes a little bit, it
Yeah,
almost
SpongeBob
says
podcast.
SpongeBob.
It does give me very
Yeah,
SpongeBob
I say we
vibes
just
as well.
go all agree that this is
Yeah.
terrible and move on.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
And I do want to once again stress that I want to apologize for all the audio listeners right now. This is one you should definitely watch on YouTube if you're interested. But the visuals that we're, I feel like, giving, especially that SpongeBob
I
one,
think
kind
yeah,
the
I can't
2D version
imagine
of
what
this one is
you're
better.
envisioning.
Speaking
right
of SpongeBob, that's what the letters look like. The font of the letters is almost like they're when SpongeBob mocks somebody, where like some letters are bigger and smaller, but it's like each letter has parts that are weirdly big and weirdly small.
I
welcome
got
to the
something weirdly
conversation.
big for you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm being mean. I love you, Nathan.
Oh, he meant like the karate helmet.
Yeah, yeah.
Dummy.
No, that's what Drew meant.
I'm talking about the font.
Yeah, I would.
Okay, moving
Yeah.
on.
Yeah,
The
thank
third
you.
one.
Anyways, yeah.
So right off
This
the
is
bat,
my least favorite.
This is my favorite font, right? So the way that SpaceBar looks has been my favorite font out of all of them so far. It just looks so elegant, right? It's got a real sophistication to it.
This is not an elegant or
Factory.
sophisticated podcast, though.
Exactly.
Olive Garden or Cheesecake Factory at best is what that font is.
So for those of you looking, if you look on either side of the large rectangle, which is supposed to be the spacebar, what we have
Picture of Olive Garden or
decided,
Cheesecake Factory was a font.
what we have decided that we think that the artist tried to portray was the alt keys on either side of the spacebar, but
Right.
then trying to transform them into cocktails. But to
Enhance.
me, what it looked like when I immediately saw it before we got to dive into it too much is it looked like a piece of writing pad and a pencil on it is the immediate
fair.
response I got out of it.
That's fair. It's like iPhone's first like initial app icon for the notepad.
Facts.
Basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now that
Yeah,
you say
that's
that, I
spot
can't
on.
unsee it.
Yeah.
The second thing I saw was like an old school joystick on like an Atari, right?
Yeah.
It's just a square box with a joystick on top.
If I wasn't
They're
a part,
also not.
go ahead.
Sorry. They're not.
Symmetrical.
They're the same.
Yeah,
Yeah,
They're
not
not
symmetrical.
symmetrical.
Yeah,
I hate that.
Yeah.
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 If I wasn't a part of
The
the
one on the
creative-
right looks like a
fuck me,
paintbrush.
god damn it.
All right, Drew, go.
If I wasn't a part of the creative process, I would not know what those were. I knew that those were cocktail glasses when I first saw them because I knew each piece that we're getting, we've asked them to put a cocktail glass.
Right.
So, all right. Sorry, Nathan. Go ahead.
I thought it was gonna chalk up to it being in 3D, but no, they're not symmetrical in the 2D either.
100%.
Weird.
It's unfortunate.
All right.
And then the bottom one is just the same as
Oh.
the first one,
Okay.
but the podcast is outside instead of inside.
Honestly, I don't think it would look good the other way. The way you're describing it, there'd be
You
like
think so?
I think there'd be like too much space between where like the edge of the light blue and the P and the edge of the light blue and the T. There'd just be like a bunch of unused space where just a little bit.
I honestly
weird.
feel like this one
Yeah.
is kind of like a metal version of the one that y'all hated with like the yellow one, the yellow and red. It's like if you made that into
Yeah.
that's what you get. Just move the space, move the martini glass.
Yeah, and then
Oh, you
change
wanna-
the font completely.
Never mind. I was also confused, just like this person that made this for us. I get what you're saying. You wanted like actually in the lines like the first
Yeah.
sheet.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That actually probably looked decent.
Yeah.
Is that what I said?
Man, we get unlimited revisions, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I might be able to. I'd have to look into it or just message him.
And these are just images. He doesn't do any animation, right?
No, I don't think so. He might. I don't know. I didn't see in his profile that he did, but he might have like a separate thing for it.
Yeah, but I think
You can search them up by name.
all in all, out of the 6 options, I definitely feel that I can see where you get your money's worth. You pay more, you get faster turnaround. The quality is way better of the product you're receiving, but design wise, if you're looking for something two-dimensional and you're not looking to have the 3D and the infinite revisions and something pretty simple, if you really compare the 3 versus the 3, the value of the design itself is not really where you get your monetary increase. It's the excess of options that you have, the extra revisions, the faster turnaround, the 3-dimensional rendering. Those are really where the money comes into play design wise. Also, just a small caveat, I feel like there's not a whole lot you can do with our specific theme, I guess you could say. And so I feel like that holds a little bit of artistic restraint when you're really thinking about the possibilities. But design wise, I feel like the money is not worth the excess nearly $100, but the extra perks of the product itself, I think, are 100% pay for themselves. That's my hot take.
Pay for the benefits.
I think there is, I don't know, maybe I'm just being snooty. I think there is a difference in the quality between the more expensive ones and the cheaper ones. Granted, I am currently looking at the 3D versions, so obviously I'm going to think that. But I think even with the 2D,
even honestly, out of all of the ones, I liked that blue and yellow one even more than like the 3D ones.
I like I don't know if there's out of the cheap ones, definitely the last one's the best one. I think it competes with my favorite one out of the expensive ones, but
I would have
I like it more than the expensive ones.
To see a comparison, right? I would have to see a 3D rendering. I think there is a strong possibility, and if we get unlimited revisions, I think we should strongly consider switching out the martini glasses. You should
for sure. The martini glass is silly. I feel like it doesn't match the vibe of this podcast at all.
I didn't mean removing the martini glass. I meant replacing the one that's on the blue cheap one with the one that is on the expensive one. I mean, I don't. What else would we put there?
The martini glass, completely.
Rocks glass.
I feel like I really like the thin stem extending up from the spacebar. In my opinion, I feel like a rock.
It gives it the separation.
Yeah, I feel like the rocks
makes
glass
it easier to like see.
Would mesh a little too hard.
Yeah.
And I feel like it wouldn't be apparently clear that it's an alcoholic beverage, right? So everybody knows martini is an alcoholic beverage, right? But if you threw...
That is true, yeah.
It would be hard to get the detail of a rocks glass without it just looking like a cup with ice in it, I think, in my opinion.
I was honestly just thinking like beer mugs or some shit, but that seems more fitting to the 4 of us than martini glasses do.
How copyright can we get? Can we make our logo look a lot like the White Claw logo?
I can't picture the White Claw logo. Let me Google.
It's
real
right.
quick.
Look behind Eric.
It's right here.
Well, I'm in the topics.
I don't know why I thought it was a head.
You want to do a wave?
I mean, we could change it up, but it's a pretty cool logo in my opinian.
Our podcast has nothing to do with waves.
This is a wave.
Or martinis.
We're riding the wave, Kyle.
I got something you can ride, bro.
It has more to do with White Claw than it does a martini.
Okay, Nathan, we get it. You hate everything, including martinis.
No, I mean, I did like the martini glass in that blue and yellow one. That was my favorite of the martini glasses. But that's because it reminds me of like a neon sign, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. The martini glass specifically.
100%.
Like that's the best stylized martini glass out of all of these.
Because it's like almost just like one line, basically, in a way.
Yeah. I'm gonna rearrange all on my screen real quick.
So I mean, is that segment? Because
I think that could be it.
Yeah, if y'all don't have anything to expand on what I said about
what do we all think the winner is out of all of them? Not just out of their categories, but out of all of them.
I like the first one of the more expensive one and the last of the cheaper. I'll probably end up utilizing them both, to be completely honest. Just in different areas, perhaps. Like one will be like YouTube, and like the nicer one will be YouTube, and we'll use the other for like Twitter and Instagram and TikTok.
One thing
honestly, I think.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
Go ahead.
All right. If the expensive one out of the first one was 3D and like did like the back and forth thing, I can see a lot more value in it.
Yeah.
But also when it comes down to like having it as a, I don't think a watermark's the right answer or but the right thing I'm trying to say, but something like at the bottom right of the screen whenever we do videos or something, or in the middle,
Yeah.
like how it is currently probably on the screen right now. I feel like the more expensive one, the first one, has way more value in that because
Yeah.
without the blue background, it's just the least expensive one. It's just the words. There's nothing bordering it in a way.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
We need to figure out like the small circle, right? So
I'm sorry, what? Do that again? Figure out what?
the small circle.
That's a pretty big
So like
circle, Kyle.
a special two-handed circle. So like when you go to our YouTube page,
yeah.
our icon is just a blue circle with an S in it.
What comes with that social media package?
That I would imagine.
Off the top of my head, I don't remember. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I'll have to take a deeper dive into that and circle back with you at a later time.
All right. Well,
does anybody have anything else to say?
This podcast kind of just feels like a meeting. You know what I mean? There's like a fly on the wall action.
Is it over?
Well,
What?
I
I'm
hope
so
that
confused.
everybody got a little bit of information on the process of going through Fiverr in order to get a logo, to have someone of artistic value that you don't have yourself bring you something of value. You kind of see the difference here on the cheaper versions for the most expensive versions. We gave you a little bit of compare and contrast on what you get for your money, some of our opinions on where the value lies when you're going through one of these types of systems in order to get these artistic contributions to any projects that you're working on. And hopefully some of you found a little bit of value of seeing kind of what the process is like of matching a theme to something that you're working on artistically. And I think now would be a safe time to move to a little bit more of our casual podcast style.
Also, shout out to the artists that did those for us. We'll probably, I'll put their handle with each picture. It's all right. I'll do that. Nice. Big editor stuff. Okay, so I kind of mentioned this to you guys last week, and I'm just gonna spring it on y'all because when I had the idea, it was about 7:50, and I was like, well, it's too late. I might as well just spring it on them now, right? So when you guys are hearing this, this is going to be the week of Spider-Man No Way Home.
4 days.
We have to talk about it. 4 days. Yeah, is it 4 days when this podcast comes out?
Monday through Thursday.
Yeah. So originally I wanted to do Spider-Man, like your most favorite Spider-Man. Apparently I found out I was a bigger nerd when it came out to Spider-Man because everybody's like, I just know like the three. But what I was going to do instead, spring it on you, I'll go first to give you guys time to think. Favorite Spider-Man movies. We've all seen all the movies, right? We've seen 1 through 3 of Toby, 1 and 2 of Andrew, and when this podcast comes out, 4 days, we'll see 1 through 3 of Tom Holland, right? So this is all Spider-Man. So this also includes Miles Morales, that movie. So what's your favorite Spider-Man movie, 1 through 5? Because there's at least 5 in there. 5. Yeah, bro. So I'll go first.
All right.
Oh, we're doing a list. So it's not your favorite.
So
it's listing your favorite in order.
We can do favorites.
What is your list? Individual lists.
I think we should just do the one.
Okay. Well, that's hard. All right, top 3.
I mean,
top 3.
Top 3. Okay.
Top 3. Okay. So I'll go first to kind of give you guys time to think, right? So
I already got mine.
Oh, okay. So, you want to go? You can go first.
Sure. Into the Spider-Verse is number 1. And then there's Toby, the first one, because I love that. I know everybody likes the second one the most because of Doc Ock, but I like Green Goblin more than Doc Ock.
Fair.
Plus, I like that origin story the most out of all of the ones that we have been forced to see. That has been the one that I've not enjoyed because I don't like seeing Uncle Ben die over and over again.
Spoiler alert!
That's been the most impactful one. The dude that played Uncle Ben when he's like laying there crying and he was like, "Oh, Peter," just like, yeah, I get that. And then number 3 would be Far From Home.
That was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. I loved the whole like zombie Iron Man sequence and all the weird Mysterio shit like that. For sure.
The Night
I feel
Monkey
like
was my
that
favorite.
beats. Yeah, Night Monkey is
of
pretty solid
course,
too.
stupid monkey.
But those are my three.
My one is also. Oh no, so this is hard because I really like Into the Spider-Verse, and I also really like the second Spider-Man. Not because of Doc Ock, just because that movie's fucking goated altogether. But I'll have to probably do Spider-Man 2, Tobey Maguire's, as one. Into the Spider-Verse is number 2, and then uh, Far From. I'm gonna put No Way Home there. I haven't even seen the movie. That's 3. Fuck it. That's 3, man.
Is that even allowed?
It's
You like it better
allowed.
with the trailers and the
I feel
full-length
like-
feature films?
That's how much
I mean,
faith
just
I
off
have
the
in it.
trailers, bro. Yeah, I have a ton of faith in the movie as well. It looks so good.
So good.
All right,
Go
I'll
ahead,
go
speak
next.
your
I'm not
mind,
excited
Nathan.
about this at all.
I was just gonna say I wanted to bomb just so you look like a fool.
But you don't want to put that existence out there.
So
It's gonna be great.
I'm also gonna hit Into the Spider-Verse number 1 because my main view of it is I really like the artistic abilities that you get with animation, right? So you can really do things, you can really express things in a way that you can't in live action in an animation. And secondly, the soundtrack on that is just goated. And music plays a large part in my mind in storytelling, and it really just derives emotion that you can't get from visuals alone, in my opinion. And so the soundtrack I think fits perfectly. It really, the character development and the songs that were developed to go with those characters growing, I think really just enhances the story in a way that none of the live actions had scores to do so. So that's what really drove Into the Spider-Verse, those two things.
Spoiler
Man
alert,
works for a fucking professional studio for like however long, and out here giving goddamn hot takes.
Oh
Like he's
god.
a movie critic.
Well, whenever Spider-Man or Peter Parker dies in that universe, the song that played is like pretty emotionally impacting. Like I remember first seeing it, and I was just like, I had a lump in my throat. I was like, it was a cartoon, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Honestly,
That
cartoons hit me
Stan
so
Lee
much harder than
cameo in
live
that one
actions.
genuinely made me
Facts.
cry. I think that was the first one after he died. When he was like, "Were you his friend?" And he was just like, "Yeah, like I knew him." I was just like, oh.
All
Sorry,
right,
Stan.
back to
Thanks.
me.
Yeah.
My number 2 would be Homecoming. So I really liked that one because I really enjoyed the emotional development between Tony Stark and Spider-Man, right? So I think they did that really well. You gotta, for me, I feel like they did a good job because Peter Parker never knew his dad, and so Iron Man comes in, and then Iron Man is not really an emotional person by nature, and right, and
My father.
and,
Sorry.
and
I
so
never knew my
the development of that relationship, they really do a really good job of Tom Holland really wanting that relationship. He really yearns for it. You can
Right.
really tell he does an amazing job acting and showing that he really wants that relationship. He wants Tony Stark to be his father figure. Even before Tony Stark knew who he was, he idolized him and what he accomplished. And then for
Right.
Tony Stark to come into his life, and in the beginning you can kind of tell the hesitancy of Tony Stark. The perfect scene, they do the door opening, he goes in for a hug, he's like, oh, I was just opening the door. And then the emotional impact of when he sends the suit and he's not in it, and then he sends the suit again and he ends in it. It's like it's a development that really is impactful and really plays to their storylines and their backgrounds. And so that's why I put it as number 2.
My favorite part of that movie is they show how strong he is when he lifts up the fucking building. I'm just like,
Yeah.
hey, I don't think outside of like the original Raimi trilogy when he does the train shit, and then I guess later on in the movie he holds like the boat together or something. Um, but the one where he, like, I feel like lifting up an entire structure is a lot more impactful than either of those two things. Well, I guess the train was pretty impactful, but either way, that's still.
Stop the speeding train.
Okay, and for back to me again, And for my number three, I think I'm gonna say the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I just
Disrespect.
Back to formula.
I liked it a lot. I think one of the most memorable Spider-Man scenes for me that should sit with me is just when he goes into slow mo and that dude is punching the locker and he's just like, and like his bracelet is like one of those like beaded bracelets that you use
Yeah.
for like ID tags, and it's around his wrist multiple times, and it's like shaking in the slow mo. And then when he catches all
great
the
movie.
fruit, yeah. So those are my three, and why?
Do you know when he catches all the fruit? That's like him actually. Doing
Yeah, I
that.
saw
It
that
took him a bunch
TikTok.
of takes.
He actually caught those.
Do you know he actually broke his foot when he kicked the? Anyways, so I kind of want to go again. I didn't know we were doing a full like synopsis of the fucking movies. I thought,
I thought that was the thing. I thought we were gonna tell why we thought those were our favorites.
I thought we would all.
short and sweet.
I thought
for
the way
yous.
I had it in my mind. This is why we should probably. I should have said something. Was we all say it and then we all discuss our top three, right? Because I could have gone into detail on why.
All right, well then
all of
let
you
Eric say
motherfuckers-
his top three, and then
all
we
you
can
motherfuckers
discuss.
are wrong for not having Spider-Man 2 on your fucking list.
All right, let's
but-
let Eric do his thing. We've already established that you got your turn.
In no particular order, and I'm not going to take up a lot of time here because Kyle hit a lot of the points that I would have liked to touch. So, in no particular order, Into the Spider-Verse definitely in there. I mean, it's
so good.
chef's kiss. It's so
Amazing.
good. Ugh.
It is.
Spectacular.
Spider-Man 1. And it is because of Good Green Goblin and not Doc Ock.
Yeah.
It's just, it's just
looking
good.
at it the wrong way.
And it's a toss-up, honestly. It's a tie between Homecoming and Far From Home. They're just both so good. I love them both, and I'll rewatch them both as many times as I can possibly do. I've seen them too many times now, and I've never like seen it coming on TV, and I'm like, I don't want to watch that. I've never had that happen, so I feel like that's why it's a toss-up, because they're both on now. But I really love like the traveling, like the European countryside drone scene from Far From Home. That was sick. The Night Monkey shit, hilarious. It's a goated movie.
Also,
Yeah.
fucking scrolls are in that movie. Fucking wild. I'm sure
Yeah.
4 years from now, it's not going to be that crazy.
Also, just Jake Gyllenhaal. Like the way I view those movies are like, I mean, one
Fucking
Spider-Verse is good because it's like Kyle said, there's just like you could express more with animation than you can in real life. Like that's enough said for a Spider-Man movie. So and then
You get a good
that one,
visualization on the Peter Tingle.
yeah. And then
I got a
am
tingle
really
for you.
looking at it based off of villains because like I do like all the three like live action Spider-Man. Like I like everybody that has played them as Spider-Man. I think they all did a good job as Spider-Man. My flaws with most of the other guys are like their versions of Peter Parker is what I didn't like. But I think Green Goblin and Jake Gyllenhaal, like Willem Dafoe and Jake Gyllenhaal, have been like the best villains that any of the Tobys, or not Tobys, any of the Peter Parkers have gone against.
And that's how you know he's the real Spider-Man. Because he said any of the Tobys.
Facts.
If I had to choose movies that are out and then just cop out saying No Way Home, number 3 would definitely be Far From Home, because Jake Gyllenhaal did a really good job in my opinion.
Mhm.
And he's also just a beefcake.
He's
Question
a
my
great
sexuality.
actor in general.
I just question my
true.
sexuality every time I see that man. But the reason why you guys are stupid for not having Spider-Man 2 in your
I just don't give
fucking
a shit about
list.
Doc Ock.
You don't have to give a shit about Doc Ock. That movie without Doc
What?
Ock is fucking good.
I don't
Synopsis,
remember
go.
anything else
Nathan,
about that movie
let him
without Doc
synopsis.
Ock.
All right. So
Pour your heart
we're
out, bro.
So the first theme of the movie, right, is Peter. Let me rephrase it. The first big thing that comes out of that movie, which everybody can quote, which is "With great power comes great responsibility," right? And the second movie is all about Peter wrestling with owning up to the responsibility of being Spider-Man, because throughout the first half of that movie, he's struggling with why he's Spider-Man. He is Spider-Man because that's what he thinks that he has to do. But throughout the movie, through the first half of the movie, you see that he's always late on rent. Great character. fucking comes from that movie. He is failing his grades in school. He is not able to get the girl of his dreams, which is kind of preluded at the end of the first movie, but he's not able to get the girl of his dreams. And because of that, she's dating fucking Jay Jonah's fucking son. So he has like those three big things in his life are all falling apart because he's struggling with the balance of being Spider-Man and doing the things that he needs and wants, right? So that's why he starts having that mental block, and why he loses his powers is because his body's basically turning everything off because he's no longer being Spider-Man because he wants to. He's being Spider-Man because he feels like he has to. Fast forward through the movie, he stops being Spider-Man. Everything becomes great for him. He starts macking on Mary Jane and making her think about shit. He starts doing better in school, paying rent. Raindrops keep falling on his head. And everything's going good. But he still is Spider-Man just a little bit, right? So whenever it's that scene, whenever there's a building on fire, he instinctually still runs in after he finds out that there's a child in there without his powers and tries to save the day. He does save the day. And that's whenever his transition starts turning into he no longer is. He basically finds himself being Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. It's a really good movie.
Counterpoint: great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. He says that in the first movie as well. Also, there's a way cooler fire scene in the first movie too, when there's the fire and there's like the woman scream and he goes in there and it's Green Goblin and he kicks him in the fucking chest.
Yeah, I forgot we're going based off of how cool the movie is instead of like the character fucking development.
Exactly.
Okay, yeah.
You
No Way Home, number 1, number 2, number 3 then, because that movie's gonna fucking rip.
Facts.
I changed my order.
I probably haven't seen the original Spider-Man movies, and like I feel like a decade, honestly.
I watched them recently, except for
I
the
should
third
probably watch them recently.
I've seen
Look
the
at that this week.
first two,
I'm just gonna
at
watch
least in the
all-
last
I-
5 years, but the third
I
one I think
really-
I've only seen twice in my whole life.
Like as
Yeah,
far as
you're not
the
missing much.
movies that you should probably watch before going into this one, outside of like the normal Marvel movies, would just be the first Spider-Man, the second Spider-Man, and then whatever other. The second Amazing Spider-Man, because that introduces Electro.
Honestly, I feel like if
That's
you
probably it.
were gonna watch it, you just need to watch the third Spider-Man of Tobey, the second Spider-Man of Andrew, and then obviously the second Spider-Man of Top. Which I feel like that's where, if they are getting pulled from timelines, where they're getting pulled.
You think he's getting pulled from the third movie?
You want to
Yeah.
You want to transfer into
Sandman's there.
speculations for
Not true.
No Way Home?
Also, if we're gonna go off of how cool the scene is,
I didn't even
the
like
fucking
occur to
train
me-
scene, the train scene with Doc Ock is better than anything out of all three of those movies. The whole train fight, fucking, even at the bank. Fuck you guys,
I like the bank
Name
scene
one-
a lot.
bro.
He pulls the door off and turns it into like a fucking.
I'm
And he,
just like throwing the bags of money at people.
and he breaks off the fucking piece of the clock and just arrows it, and then Spider-Man catches it and slingshots it back at him, bro. It's so fucking sick. So good.
I don't want to.
It's like super foggy in my mind. Like these scenes, I really need to watch.
I remember
these movies
them.
again,
I
because
still just think
I can picture
Willem
it
Dafoe
happening,
is
but it's
cooler.
literally all behind like a wall of fog.
Yeah.
What was that?
Speculations, No Way Home.
There you go.
Drew, go first. You have
I
the
didn't-
most. I feel like.
No, I mean, I think it's gonna be a pretty solid movie. I've seen like some like rumors that like the runtime for each Spider-Man's like Toby has like 28 minutes and Andrew has 25. I would be bummed if they are just a part of the final battle. Because I feel like there's just a lot of
I have.
they have a lot of cool stuff they can do.
Yeah,
I mean, you can
I feel
add
like it
on
would
to
be like a low-key cop-out. If
Well,
there's
I was
not
gonna
like
say, with the fact that they just said that they're coming out with like Sony's doing 3 more Spider-Man movies, on top of like this last one, I could see and like this one being No Way Home, because all of the movies' title have had to do specifically with something that's going on. So at the end of this movie, Peter Parker's not gonna have a way home. Some way, somehow, he's either gonna get trapped in some sort of, maybe that's what going to be a part of like Quantumania or some shit. He gets trapped in whatever universe. But I could for sure see them showing up like to help him at the final battle or something. And then the next 3 Spider-Man movies about him getting each Peter Parker like back home to their respective universe or some shit. But it didn't occur to me until earlier to think about where each Spider-Man is going to be getting plucked from their individual timeline. Because I just assumed that they would be plucked from the same point in time that their villain is taken from, but I guess I didn't realize that there's 2 of Toby's. So I guess and like one's not alive when the other one is around, so it couldn't be that one. So it's
Well,
gonna have to be.
Alfred Molina, there's 3 from Toby's. Alfred Molina confirmed basically in the very beginning.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting Sandman's in it.
Yeah, that he's gonna get that he's getting plucked right at the end of Spider-Man 2 whenever he's like going down.
Right, but Willem Dafoe's already dead at that point because Green Goblin dies at the end of the first Spider-Man. So yeah, that's my
True.
point. Is like I didn't realize that I guess that Green Goblin's going to be from a completely different timeline, and I'm curious at like what that Peter Parker's up to. If that's where the Peter Parker's going to be coming from, is whatever universe that Goblin is still alive.
I get what you're saying.
Or not. I don't give a fuck about where Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is coming from, to be honest. I liked him as Spider-Man, but those movies weren't great.
I saw a cool theory where it was, at the end of the second Andrew Garfunkel, Andrew Garfield, Spider-Man, wherever he comes back as Spider-Man, like a theory is that unintentionally, but they could definitely do it, is that they pluck him right after Gwen Stacy dies at the end of that movie, and he's like no longer Spider-Man or whatever, and they pick him up there. He learns to be Spider-Man again, and so whenever he does come back, and like it's like supposed to be a big deal, but it doesn't really pay off that way in the movie, it will have more of an impact because they've had the guy who did that movie and Sam Raimi come in to kind of look over this movie. Also, Sam Raimi's directing Multiverse of Madness, but to look into this movie to kind of give their insight of the characters in the movie. So
well, we've all seen the scene where
gonna...
Zendaya is mimicking the Gwen Stacy fall.
Yeah,
so.
I think that Andrew Garfield's going to be the one to save her in that scene. I don't think it's like I think that's how he's going to get his redemption from that moment in his series. And I also controversial. I think it's going to be him and Ned falling, and I think Ned's going to die. I don't know why, but I feel like it's going to be him and Ned, and he can only save one.
I also disagree that
I feel like
the
that
next
someone's
movies are
dying
going to
this
involve Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. I think it's going to be a one-off. I think there's no shot they continue the series with all 3 of them.
If they can, and they're like, depending on how well this movie does,
I can see them stretching it into like the next movie,
the start.
Yeah, but like it wouldn't be like the main thing. If I feel like it would just be that would kill the entire series if it was the next 3 movies is him trying to get the other Toby's home or the other Peter's home.
That's how you know he's Spider-Man.
No, I just feel like
not my Spider-Man.
Like it's a gentle throwback, but I just feel like they're not like their Spider-Man days are over, right? Like this is like while there's long run times, like this is 100% in my opinion cameos, and I do not see a world where they continue the storyline where Toby and Andrew continue to be in the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it would be like in the next 3 movies, but I can see them being an end part of this movie, maybe being the beginning part of his 4th movie, or being a part of Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, where like the beginning, like 5 minutes is they're dropping off.
Timeline.
Yeah, because it's more likely that they will do it now if opposed to not like just doing as a one-off thing. If Across the Spider, that's the new one. But if Into the Spider-Verse never existed, I feel like with the success of Into the Spider-Verse, they're like, oh, we can bring multiple Spider-Men in and it will make money and it will be really good. And there's endless possibilities of, what they could do.
I feel like they have to capitalize on it as well because, I mean, you have like DC has been doing like that in their shows and shit. So like the multiverse thing. So
see, Love and Thunder also comes out before Multiverse of Madness, which is I think why I know we already talked about this in group chat and y'all flamed me for it, which is why I still think that's a Miss Minutes T-shirt because they still have
No
to.
shot.
I feel like
It's
Loki's
not a
gonna
Miss
be in that
Minutes
No
movie,
shirt, bro.
and he's gonna have
It's
to
a
like that's gonna be
sun.
him
It's
bridging.
nothing
And-
like a clock. It's a
If you
sun.
don't, if you are watching the YouTube video or you're listening, look at the time that we're at right now. Go to YouTube, and right now on the screen will be the picture that he's talking about and the picture he's comparing it to. And I want you to realize, and then also flame him in the comments on how stupid this is, because they look nothing alike. The only similarities is that they're orange
And
And
they're
they're
round.
round.
and they're
That's
round.
And they have faces.
Either way, I feel like Loki is going to tie into that movie somehow, and he has to like he's still in limbo right now.
Oh, 100% Loki is going to be in Love and Thunder.
I still
Well, he can't get there without some sort of like without revealing the TVA, and if the TVA is involved in that plot in any sort of way, it wouldn't surprise me if like there's that more time travel shit happens where like they go back and make that like a actual Miss Minutes reference because I don't think that that was written in as a Miss Minutes reference, but I do think that like they will make it a reference.
If it's a Miss Minutes reference, I'll give you $10.
So do you think that like whenever they were writing Loki, like they're like, damn, we need to think of like some type of plot point, whatever. I'm just gonna put on my favorite movie, Thor: Dark World, and then saw that and was like, bingo, this is how we could bring back Loki, and then made the Loki show.
No, there's nothing. No, I'm saying that like I said, I don't think that that part included in Dark World was intentional, but I'm saying it would not put it. I wouldn't put it past Marvel to go back and retcon that and make that them trying to be like, oh, that was intentional. That is like that was hidden all along for you guys.
I just don't understand why you think that there needs to be a reference to Jane's shirt to bring Loki back. Like they're gonna
Don't.
like I 100%.
The two aren't
they're-
directly related to
Loki
me at
is
all. I don't know
way-
why you are making
way
that
a
distinction.
giant-
in
You
your
said
head.
that. You said they're gonna use the shirt to make the reference to time travel to bring back Loki. I 100%.
That's,
What's
not-
what's the correlation between her shirt and bringing Loki back?
I don't know. I just think no, the
look.
shirt and bringing Loki back have nothing to do with each other.
That was your argument.
No, it wasn't.
Okay,
I just
restate
think
your
that
argument.
my argument was that it looks like Miss Minutes, and I think that Marvel will eventually go back to that and make that some sort of Easter egg for them claiming to be like a Miss Minutes thing. I don't know.
Okay. I 100% do not think that that will happen. But I agree with you that they're 100% going to use the TVA and the multiverse to bring Loki back. Like, that's the point of the whole show.
Point. Yeah.
I thought you were directly tying that to Jane's shirt in Dark World.
Nathan's
No.
actual response.
I'm saying it's like a time travel thing.
No.
We've been watching the Marvel movies in the timeline order, and I'm sorry, it's not Dark World. Watching the timeline order. Miss Minutes is definitely in the first Thor movie.
Sure. And
Here's the
I
picture.
still
Here's the picture again. All right, you decide if she was in that movie.
I still think it looks like her.
We'll look for your response down in the comments.
That's down here.
I mean, like, there are similarities, but there's no shot that's her. And I don't think that my argument is they have no need. There is no need to tie to that shirt to do anything, right?
It's just a shirt.
I'm trying to remember. There was also something that was going on specifically in that moment in the movie too that I was just like, it's like a big part of the movie, but I can't remember what exactly was happening. Where I was just like, that could be an interesting like time travel point. But honestly, it's not a great movie, so I can't remember.
That's what I was going to say.
I was
The first two
just
Thor movies
thinking
are
about-
completely forgettable. So
I liked the first
But I just
Thor
think
movie,
with
I'm gonna be
all the
honest
time
with you.
travel and them going back in points, I feel like that will be relevant at some point.
I liked the first one, but I
I
didn't
feel like
love
that's
it.
too similar of a design to be just a coincidence, even for that.
No, 100%. Even if it's a similar design, there's like, even if they throw back to it, there is 100% no doubt in my entire mind that when they put that shirt on her, nobody was thinking Miss Minutes.
I guess
even
that's
if
fair.
even if they throw back to it, because there is no shot when that movie came out that they knew that Loki was going to be a Marvel favorite and that he was going to get his own standalone TV show that involved the TVA and Miss Minutes. That happened years and years later, so there's
but we
no
also
way that
don't
they
know, like,
referenced that.
what points of the Marvel storylines, like, at the point that they came up with the TV shows to make them TV shows and not parts of movies.
That was so early on, though. There's no shot that that's
Also, to
an
directly
actual
quote you,
reference.
directly quote you, you said that is... Yeah, you're dumb because you know how stupid you are. That's why you're mocking me. You said that shirt is 100% Miss Minutes. You said that is definitely Miss Minutes.
I don't know why we've all agreed that I may be wrong.
No, there's no maybe. There's no maybe.
I feel like we're just blaming Nathan.
Yeah.
Let's just pivot.
I was just thinking about what we were gonna do, so I was just like, I need to rewatch all of the Marvel movies just concurrently, and I was like, oh, we could do that for New Year's, but then I was like, oh, we already have New Year's plans, and that's too.
100%. So we're all giant nerds in this podcast. Hopefully that you share our interest if you have been listening to us for 1, 2, or 3 episodes, and maybe the bonus episode 0 that had terrible audio quality. We apologize for that. Hopefully this podcast is sounding a lot better. But as you may know, we are big into a lot of the mainstream universes and a lot of the not mainstream universes. But one of the ones that we are all pretty interested in, that even Nathan is getting a little bit more of a feel, even though he's a little bit late to the party, is the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, right? And so
I have a theory about that as well.
Coming up
get back to it.
in January of 2022, New Year's Day specifically, HBO Max is releasing an episode or a series or something. We don't really know exactly the specifics on it, where all of the main characters return. It's kind of like if you saw what they did with Fresh Prince, or they did it with Friends as well, I think.
If you're white, they did it with Friends.
They do a lot of
Sopranos.
cast reunions on HBO, and they're doing one for Harry Potter, which is going to be amazing in my opinion. And so since it airs on New Year's Day, and we had planned on getting together for New Year's Eve, what we're going to do is we're going to get together at one of our casas, our humble abodes, and we are going to have a movie marathon of the 8 Harry Potter movies, the 1 through 7, part 1, part 2, and then we are going to watch the HBO Max special. And during this movie marathon, we're going to play Harry Potter themed drinking games. We're going to do Harry Potter themed dress up, specifically Eric, because he already has his Gryffindor robe.
Facts.
We're going to get really drunk, and we're going to make TikToks where we're like, oh God, it's going to be great. So you should definitely stick around for that.
I'm about to go. I'm about to fly. I'm literally gonna make a trip next weekend after next. I'm going, maybe Christmas weekend. Who knows? I'm gonna go to Orlando, just so I can do the whole wand thing, just so I can have a wand for New Year's Day.
Even with the free flight,
like
getting into Disney World is like $350 a day.
That's fine. It's worth it.
Yeah,
I'll just go for the one day.
I feel like it might be.
I'm gonna get hammered on butterbeers.
Ooh.
I tried to look it up recently, the ingredients for it, to see what it was, and it was like
The butterbeer that they had on tap in Orlando was orgasmic. It was so good.
I wonder if it tastes exactly how I've always imagined butterbeer tasting like.
It was like cream soda and butterscotch or something.
Yeah, that's what I
feel like it tastes like those like really good caramel candies.
It was very
old
good.
people
Like
hard candies?
Welter's.
Yeah,
Welter's
yeah,
original.
Those are fucking fire.
Fire, bro. So good. Best caramel on the market.
What's your theory, Nathan?
It's not like my theory is part of. I was wondering like why Harry Potter has been like as popular as it has been for as long. Because like Kyle said, I got into the series later. Like I just read the books. I saw the movies not as they came out because I was one of the kids that wasn't allowed to like watch the movies and read the books growing up because witchcraft.
Christian.
Which goes to my theory, which is like that is part of the reason Harry Potter has been able to stay relevant for so long, on top of all the kids like showing it to
all
their
the cool
kids
kids
that
got
they
to watch
enjoyed.
it.
Well, no, it's like, so there's the kids that got to watch it and shit that like they share it with their kids because they were like, oh, this is like a core memory from my childhood or whatever. And then there's a lot of adults that are like getting it into it for the first time because they're like, well, I'm no longer stuck in a household where I'm not allowed to like watch these movies or read these books. So then they get an entirely different set of like a different market of people like at a later stage in their life, and I feel like that
Yeah.
has helped
I,
the longevity of the series.
I
Because
can
like
see that, but like
it's a good series, but it's not a great series. There's like tons
it
of
is a
plot
great
holes,
series.
and
Don't you ever in your
100% it's a
life
great series.
And
ever
J.K.
badmouth
Rowling is
Harry Potter
awful.
again. J.K. Rowling is a dumb bitch, 100%. She's an awful human being
I
and a shit fucking person. But don't you ever
well, I guess
in your
the
life say
movies,
it's not a
there are
great series
tons of
again.
plot holes like in the movies just because they do stuff a lot different than the books.
I would
Like I'm
definitely say the
spoiled.
movies aren't classified as great, but the books 100%
Right. Like
are.
I'm
Phenomenal.
spoiled with like
Fantastic.
my main fandom being Lord of the Rings, so I got extended
Trash. Okay.
editions of all of my shit. So like the stuff that they didn't get to show in the theatrical cut, you get the longer versions of. And like I've always wished that I'm surprised that Harry Potter didn't have some sort of director's cut of their it's like what? That's such a big series. There's no way there isn't tons of shit that you guys didn't just cut because you couldn't make it for time. And then
No. I feel
now
like a
those
lot of
movies
that
are
might have to do with J.K. Rowling as well.
yeah, those movies are
Sorry.
long as
I
it is.
I recently
They
watched
are
like a
long,
bunch
yeah.
of the special features. That's what I'm saying though. The Lord of the Rings, like the
Yeah, they're
special
nowhere
features
close to
are
the
like
director's
four
cut of Lord of
longs.
the Rings.
Yeah, they're like
They feel
four and a half
Nowhere
hours
close.
long.
But they're
They
not.
feel
They're
that long
nowhere
probably just
close.
because I feel like you might not be as into it or you might not be as interested.
No,
But
it's
if
100%.
you're
I'm
like,
not interested in like magic and stuff, but as somebody who hasn't read the books, probably won't ever read the books, and just watching the movies are not good. They
that's what I'm saying. It's because like they cut out a lot of stuff in the movies. Like Dobby is a huge part of the books, and he's like kind of around in the movies. Like he's around enough for people to get emotionally attached to him. Um, but like he plays a larger role in the books,
yeah.
and like I got really mad at I think it's maybe the Prisoner of Azkaban, whichever ones the Weasley twins like cause like quit school and like during the
It's the
Owl's
fifth
test or
book.
whatever. Um, in the
Order of
book,
the
it's for a
Phoenix.
specific reason. It's Order of the Phoenix. In the book, it's so Harry can sneak up to Umbridge's office and talk to
Serious.
in the fire. In the movie, they just do it to do it. They're like, "Fuck school, we quit. We're starting a prank shop. We're out." And they're like,
100%.
"Ha,
The one thing that
rascals."
I will never forgive the movies for is cutting out Peeves in the entire series.
Yeah.
I think he is a very detrimental character to the story. Like he does a lot of
Yeah.
things. He really builds the persona of the castle a lot. He's almost like as much as it goes, even a little bit more so in my opinion, he's the living embodiment of what Hogwarts is like as a magical
Right.
school. And it's very important, like his relationship with Filch and the dichotomy between the two and his respect for
Good
Dumbledore
word.
and the chaos that he ensues into the school while it's a place of organization, instruction, and learning. The controversial chaos, the dichotomy that he creates by being a poltergeist and creating chaos, and he just has a lot of roles in the book.
Yeah. I
He's
feel like they
he's
just cut out a
wild.
lot of the ghost's time in general.
Drew, if you didn't know, Peeves, like Kyle said, is just a super chaotic poltergeist in the book that's always fucking shit up.
Have you not read the
And he's
books?
just- No, he just said he
Nobody
I
listens
didn't
to
realize
hasn't,
that.
and he never plans on it.
You never plan on
That's-
reading the books?
Okay.
I mean, I wouldn't read them, but I audiobooked it.
Yeah, okay. They're synonymous in this day and age. It's not the 19th century. Get the fuck out of here.
So no, like a lot like Nathan, I grew up not being able to read it or watch it because of the witchcraft or bullshit and whatever. So like growing up, it was just kind of whatever. Um, and then now I don't really read books. I probably, if I could listen to an audiobook, might listen to an audiobook. But like just watching the movies, like I appreciate them what they're worth because like I'm always been obsessed with pop culture, so I know not everything's in there, so like I know there's things missing, but those movies feel like they take forever. They feel like they're 4 hours long, and then I can tell there's stuff missing because
Yeah.
it jumps, and I'm just like, okay, it's Christmas now. Okay, what's up? But obviously a book's structured like that, to where it's like ends here, and then there's a general time skip.
They are very long-winded books.
Yeah.
I don't think
Shit.
they're long-winded. I think
They
like
get
it,
like they
like
get
if you
into
compare
a
and
lot.
contrast them to the Lord of the Rings, like you're the one who was like complaining there's not enough lore in them. Like I feel like
Right.
the
No,
Lord of
there's
the
tons of
Rings can be way more difficult because
right.
they
Well, no, for
just
sure.
delve into
Lord of the
4
Rings is
pages of telling the historical tree of a
yeah.
single
Like
character.
for me, it's the opposite situation here. It's like I do genuinely prefer the movies over the book. Like yeah, I do really like the Lord of the Rings books a lot, and I think they're great. But like you said, they're long-winded as fuck. Tolkien can describe everything, and it's like, dog, I don't need you to describe this to me. Never gonna be back here. I don't need to hear it. You sing a lot. That's all good and dandy the first time. I skip over that shit when I read it now. But what I meant with Harry Potter is the books. There's just a lot going on all the time in the books. Like they don't really have too much downtime, and the movies don't really feel that way to me, I guess. Like the movies, since they cut out so much, like they cut out a lot of their smaller hijinks and like shit like that and like abridge it to make it different to where like you get to what Drew's saying where it feels like this does feel incomplete or this does feel like they're jumping from part to
Yeah.
part here. It's like yeah, because they did cut out a lot of side quests really that the kids did. And the side quests are just part of the fact
The
that it's an
charm.
adventure series.
Like it's the charm of Hogwarts.
You
Yeah,
get a lot
for
of
sure.
character development. Like
Yeah,
the small things that happen really it's them growing, you know, and if you you don't get that character development from the small things that occur in the books and
there's also I don't remember which set of movie it is, but there's a block of movies that their director literally didn't even read the books. So like he's just kind of doing it what he thinks he should be doing it. Yeah. Just like that's wild to put somebody in charge of that type of franchise and be like, "Hey,
yeah,
maybe sit down and read the fucking books first." Like
watch the source material, plan out what you're planning on doing, for 3 films, make Finn a Jedi, things that I can relate to finally.
It's too late in the podcast to make that transition. All right, it is way too late in the podcast to make that jump. We're just gonna ignore that you said that.
The fucking sequels are a goddamn murder to the Star Wars fucking saga. I can't stand them.
Coming in on episode 6, maybe we'll jump into a different universe.
I was just gonna.
No, 5 is gonna be our Spider-Man episode.
This was supposed to be a Spider-Man episode. Oh, you mean like talk about the movie we just
saw?
saw?
The recap of the movie. Okay. I feel like that's going to be at least 40 minutes. I feel like we're going to end up.
Well, we should do a little
I think we're
behind
gonna
the
cap
scenes.
that with the Would You Rather, right?
So we should have a spoiler-free and a spoiler episode.
You'll just have to edit the spoilers out of it.
Yeah, right? But I'm trying to figure out, like, are we going to record on Friday?
Probably.
I got time.
Yeah. We can record whenever. That's kind of up to Drew.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so
we got all week to figure it out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Actually, we have.
This is episode 4.
Yeah.
So next week would be episode 5, but the movie doesn't come out until next week.
It comes out on like. So when we record next week, it's not even gonna be out.
Yeah, that's the point I'm trying to make.
Off camera. All right.
Okay. Yeah.
Someone's gotten a little overzealous. As you can tell, we're all very excited to see this movie.
We're pretty deep.
Yeah, super stoked.
I think we've covered a lot today.
Yeah.
I'll cover you later.
Oh, Hawkeye. We haven't really talked about it, but Hawkeye's good if you haven't seen it.
I like it. The 3 episodes I've seen, I'm enjoying the series a lot.
I wouldn't mind delving into this a little bit.
Yo, new episode comes out at 2. If anybody wants to
no, tomorrow's Tuesday. It comes out on Wednesday.
Okay, is everybody here caught up?
I'm
on Hawkeye?
All 3, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm so excited for Wilson Fisk. Like, Vincent D'Onofrio is such a good Kingpin. I literally went back and watched the episode of Daredevil where he slams that dude's he literally cuts a dude's head off with the car door in Daredevil.
Is it going to be the same guy?
Yeah, it's literally him.
Watch the 3rd episode again.
I did.
He's the uncle.
It's at the beginning. He's like, your uncle's gonna take you home. You don't see his face, but you see his body and his hands, and then he laughs. And I know it's stupid, but I've watched enough Law and Order to recognize that dude's laugh. So it's just like, yeah, that dude's definitely coming back, and I'm excited for the plethora of because that means that like it's a possibility for more Netflix characters.
Well, they just
Marvel
confirmed
Netflix
that
characters.
Daredevil's returning.
Charlie Cox is
Yeah.
returning as Daredevil, like today. They
For sure,
confirmed
but
that.
like that, so that confirms them too. Does that automatically confirm like Punisher, Jessica
No,
Jones, and the
definitely
other
not.
people though?
Definitely not.
My hot take here is that I did not like Jessica Jones. I did.
I
not
don't.
think
Yeah,
she
I
did
don't
a
give a
lot.
shit about
I
her,
didn't even
but
know
I
that
liked
character.
Punisher
It's
a
not good.
lot.
I didn't watch
Punisher
so
was
many. I
great.
never saw
Whatever his
Iron
name is,
Fist.
I can't
John
remember his name.
Barenthal?
Yeah, he does such a good job as Punisher.
Fantastic.
He kills that
I loved
fucking
him.
role.
He won't be
kills
Punisher.
every
His
role.
role.
He won't be Punisher. He'll be Wolverine.
I wouldn't be mad
That would
at
be
that.
He would be a
Yeah.
good Wolverine. Yeah.
Yeah, he would be. I did not like.
He's like
Iron
the
Fist.
right size and build for a Wolverine as well. Iron Fist,
Jessica
I
Jones.
literally is. I didn't watch. What's the Luke Cage because I watched
I didn't
Iron
watch Luke
Fist and I
Cage
was like,
either.
I literally want my time back. That was fucking terrible.
Luke Cage
Okay,
came out way
no,
before.
Luke Cage is way better than Iron Fist. Iron Fist
The
is
first
literally
season.
shit.
The first
Luke
season
Cage
of
is good. Also, I'm a black male in America, so it's like a must for me to watch Luke Cage. So
That's why Black Panther is number one. All right, we should probably call it here.
damn.
We didn't even talk about Hawkeye, but Hawkeye's good. Wilson Fisk. He's coming
We talked
back.
about it a little bit.
I guess a little bit, yeah. I've got some theories, but we'll talk about that next
You
time.
know what?
Yeah.
Fuck it, Nathan. Give me one.
No, I think that obviously her mom killed her dad for sure. I don't think
I didn't catch
that...
those vibes at all.
What? Whenever they're like fighting about something, and then New York happens, the Avenger shit happens, and then she's walking around her house looking for her parents, and then her mom shows up, and she's like, "Oh, it's okay. Where's Dad?" And then the next scene you see is his funeral. Like, she killed that man for sure. In the comics, it's reversed. He kills her for some other reason. but it
Oh, well,
doesn't
you
seem
have
like they're going
insider
that
information
route.
as someone
That's
who's
not
never...
insider information. That's
yes,
just
one of the parents
I know the
killing
source
the other
material.
parents. That's a real easy switch.
And then I
Bless you.
think
Thank you.
I don't think Jack Duquesne's a bad guy at all.
Who the fuck is Jack Duquesne?
Her stepdad.
Her
Or soon-to-be
stepdad. I don't
stepdad.
think he's the bad guy at all.
I don't think he is either. I think it's
I think
a
he's a
red
red
herring.
I don't think.
herring.
I think he's
I think
trying
her
to be
mom-
a good stepdad. Honestly, she's kind of being a little.
Yeah,
bitch.
she's being kind of being a dick, and he is definitely. I think he's gonna be her mentor. And
Yeah. First
because
of all-
Hawkeye is like, I'm not fucking doing it, so he's probably gonna be like, well, shit, I'll do it.
Okay.
Your mom's
Also,
a
can we
bitch.
just talk about there's no shot the butterscotch. His dad has butterscotches at his house.
She
There's
made
no
me
shot.
so mad.
Every time I don't go see my dad, I grab a motherfucking handful of those
You got me-
butterscotches
first of all, you got me
and
fucked
shove
up if you
them
think I'm just grabbing a
bitches
handful
in my
I will
pocket.
pick up that goddamn bowl and walk away with it and look at it and be like,
He
Oh,
also got his
no,
own
he's
man.
got one of his father's fucking butterscotches? Like, that's why he's the murderer? The fuck out of here.
That would be fine if that's the point that they made, but she never even made that distinction. Like, oh,
Yes, she
they
did.
were his. No, she just said she gave him. He had butterscotches. And he
Yeah,
was
but
like,
when she was in
She
the
literally
apartment,
made that
she
distinction.
saw it. She was
did
like,
she? I
oh,
guess.
She
embroidered
tells Hawkeye-
butterscotches.
No, I know.
She says,
I
he
don't.
had the butterscotch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, it made me so mad when she did that because when she was like, and he gave me butterscotch, and she was just like, he was like, what so? And I was like, bitch, why do you not mention that they were like monogrammed butterscotch from his house? Like,
Well, that was-
he just was like, okay, cool, he gave you butterscotch. Like, that's
Maybe-
not weird at all.
It's intentional, right?
yeah, it's
to
a
show that she's
Marvel-
kind of.
Well, I know that's intentional. Like, that's a part of the thing that TV shows do, where like
Yeah,
they
she's like
intentionally,
a-
like have their characters constantly
What?
giving
No,
them
like
shitty information.
lightheaded, not lightheaded.
Airheaded.
Airheaded a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
how
she made
the
the
characters
connection. That's
develop.
why she thought he's the murderer.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was just mad because it's good writing. I was just like, dang it, make a better case, Kate. You're not making a very good like point right now.
All right, theory out of there. Close it up. Who wants to? Someone hit an outro.
Bye.
Well, that's been SpaceBar Podcast. You know, we always thank you for your time. You know, you don't have to spend an hour plus listening to us ramble about everything, but, you know, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to do so. I hope you like the logos. Let us know which logo you like the most
Yeah.
in the comments.
And
Let
we
us
will
know
ignore
what
it
you're
and choose
excited
the
for.
one we like more.
That's true. We will do that.
Also, let us
For
know
sure.
what's your favorite Spider-Man movie is. Top 3.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Good call. Good call.
that's a good
If
call.
you don't
Yeah.
have Spider-Man 2 in them, you like really
Are
cool movies.
like the majority of this podcast.
Let us
But
know
not
on
the
Twitter.
majority of
Let us know on
Spider-Man fans.
Instagram.
Yep,
Let us
all
know
the
on
links are-
TikTok.
They down below. We need to speaking of TikTok.
I was supposed to make one today, but the HD took forever. I literally screen grab from it and then edit.
All right. Rambling. We appreciate everybody's time. We're going to cut this off. Thank you for being here, and we will see y'all next week.